What is happening, everybody? So, decided to take the car to the drag strip to have a little fun with it. Met the family and a good buddy of mine. He's ZL_1, that's WON, over at Instagram. He's got a bone stock 5th gen ZL1. And if you like Camaro stuff or just car stuff in general, check out his Instagram page. I think you'll like it. So, decided to take the car to the track, have a little bit of fun with it, and you know, some weird things happened, but I do want to say this. It was a good time either way. The car ran extremely well, and the point of taking the car to the drag strip this time was just to have a little bit of fun with it. See, I've been basically running the car at full weight, which means full tank of gas, speaker box in the car, floor mats in it, the whole bit, because I didn't want to have any variables during testing. I wanted it to be as consistent as possible, and the only way to do that is to control the weight of the platform that's being tested. Well, this time I wanted to have a little bit of fun, so took out the speaker box, all the associated brackets and all that, and took the floor mats out of the car and ran the car at just a little bit over half a tank of gas. So I'm going to estimate about 50 pounds or so that I took out of the car. I also wanted to experiment a little bit with the suspension settings. I've been running the car in street mode for the suspension and sport mode for the transmission. And that's mainly just to, again, have another constant as I'm trying to pick up data for whatever parts that I'm testing. So, to give you an idea, when the car was in track mode for the transmission, I was having a bit of an issue on the 1-2 shift with it spinning a little bit because it hits pretty hard. But I had left the suspension in street mode again to get that weight transfer. Well, when I ran it in sport mode, I actually 60-foot better in sport mode. Now, part of that had probably something a little bit to do with running less weight in the car, but even with less weight in the car and less weight towards the rear of the car, it's still 60-foot better. So, yeah, I'd say I might be doing that suspension setup moving forward. In fact, having the best 60-foot that the car has ever run was kind of nice. And it went a 1.640 something, if memory serves me correct. In fact, let's not let memory serve me at all. Let's see for sure. 1.648. So, anyway, that gives you some heads up on that. The car, again, real consistent getting down the track. But again, fighting a hell of a headwind. Last time I went out, it was fighting somewhat of a headwind, but this time it was just something completely different. To give you an idea, if you are familiar with those huge dealership flags that you see, I'm not sure what it takes to make that thing blow completely straight out, you know, like at full glory, but they were doing that, and it was my track at Royal Purple Raceway faces due north. It was a northerly front coming in, and yeah, I don't know, 12, 15 mile an hour headwind with gusting on top of that. So yeah, those were the conditions. The DAs that I was running in, I ran an 11.7 flat at a DA of about, I think it was 1,000 feet, 1,200 feet, and the 1165 was run at a DA that was, I think, 350 feet, because as that norther was coming in, temperatures started dropping pretty quickly. So I had a fairly decent DA. It wasn't mine shaft air, but it was a fairly decent DA, but fighting that headwind killed mile an hour on the top end. Kind of a bummer, really, because I was shooting for 1150s, to be honest with you. But that's just the news, you know, the good news from the track. But that's not what I want to focus on for the entire portion of this video. So when you're going to take your car to the drag strip, please make sure that it is fit to get down the track. One of the things that had happened is on the very first pass, a car had either lost coolant or oil or something like that towards the very end of the track. And right after the 4-5 shift in my car, it got a little squirrely. Now, it wasn't that bad. The car stepped out about 4, maybe 5 inches, and the feeling that I can give you is if you've ever been in a car that instantly lost air pressure in one of its rear tires, that's the effect that it had. The car just kind of kicked over a little bit. So, you know, obviously, cars in the garage, everything was fine. When I felt it get a little weird, I just rolled off the throttle, slowly covered the brake, aborted the run, and of course, I was racing my buddy in his ZL1, and he walked right around me for the win, which is cool. The first time he and I ever lined up to race, he was in his Scat Pack against my SRT, and I got a great shot of his taillights from start to finish. So, hey, at least the trend continues. But it does bring up the topic of safety and vehicle fitment, you know, it being fit to go down a drag strip. And this applies whether or not you're taking your car to a drag strip, a road course, autocross, or what have you. Do not make an assumption that your car is okay. Don't risk everyone else's good night and you know, having fun at the track and potentially their safety just because you assume that your car is fine. And just because it's been fine for the last 100 passes doesn't mean that it won't fail catastrophically on the 101st. So give those cars a good once over. But at any rate, those things do happen, and you have to be prepared for that. Now, I've been doing this for a long time, so for me, I'm kind of used to things getting a little bit weird at any point in the track. I mean, I've had cars that have gotten real wall thirsty at, you know, 120, 130 miles an hour. You know, this little kick out wasn't that big of a deal, but it could have been a lot worse. So, again, make sure your car is fit to take to the drag strip. And that's basically it. I had a ton of fun, though, and I was able to get some pretty good data. The passes that were clean that I made ran an 1165 and an 11.7 flat. And again, those corrected to, you know, I think around 1160 somethings for the, you know, for the correction, the DA correction. So, if you're looking at corrected numbers, the car did pick up. Of course, you can't take into account that headwind, but man, I was really shooting for 1150s. I think it would have got it, but we'll try it again next time. But at any rate, that's just an update. Hope you guys are having a great one, and post up any weird things that have happened to you guys. If you've been down to the drag strip or on a road course, what have you, let me know what kind of situations you gotten yourself out of too. Y'all have a great one. That's a wrap. Adios.